like I said, she's playing a game and she's gonna get her fingers caught in those blades with the game she's playing. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Untitled Chapter. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about another episode of Ready to Love. We're in season 4, this is episode 6, and today's episode is called Opposites Attract. So we start the episode off at the ladies' lounge. This is how we start the episodes now, but this week it's for the ladies. So the ladies were making elimination this week. So they meet up with Uncle Tommy. Everyone's kind of dressed up. I think they were kind of color coordinated, unintentionally apparently, but they're all kind of dressed in black if I remember correctly. And so the mission he gives them this week is that he wants them to first of all, this is what he does. He's like, everyone, imagine your favorite person, your number one, and then go ahead and stop, because what he wants them to do this week is actually go on dates with the people who are not in their top, the people who they ordinarily wouldn't consider. And the premise for that, he's saying, is that a lot of times, sometimes in dating, we keep making the same mistake over and over again. We keep dating the same person over and over again. It seems like the same person just wearing a different outfit. So he wanted, I guess the premise of this was to have people open up their minds and try something different, something they ordinarily wouldn't do. And so the ladies are like, oh. So the first date is with Alexis and Ron. Now we know they've had this supposed connection. We haven't seen them on a date yet, but their connection is that they've been talking on the phone every day. He has vocalized to someone that maybe, Alexis was his number one. And so Chrysanthemum was kind of upset with that. So anyway, they have this date. And this makes me wonder, this was the week where you're meant to be dating your number two, or the person you weren't really considering. So if that's the case, why is Alexis going on a date with Ron, who says that she is his number one? Alexis is playing the field, or I don't know, because these dates are just meant to be with the people who aren't your top. So why is she his top, but he's not her top? And this is what makes, some of these, immature guys misbehave when they get kind of, I don't want to say he's been played or he's been manhandled or mishandled or woman-handled, but it just kind of seems odd that she's always pushing to be his number one, but he's not her number one. Anyway, let's go into the date. So they have a date. It's like, the putt-putt, the mini golf that they go for. And it's really cute. They meet up, they hug, he lifts her up. I guess the size disparity is quite big. So there's, he's able to lift her up real easy, like she's a little flyer, a little kid, and they give it nice. So they really have a nice, affectionate date, really. Let's just sum it up. It was a really nice, affectionate date. They have a conversation. Of course, again, she goes on pushing for the, am I your number one? That conversation, I think this needs to stop. And they need to tell them, like, they keep doing this and it just messes everything up. Stop asking. You can ask, like, the week before, but am I your number one? Like, what you want? Like, it's a game show. Like, how am I meant to show you my cards while we're still playing the game? I'm getting fed up with this question. Actually, I find it aggravating. I don't know how everybody else finds it. But anyway, she's pushing for that. Am I your number one? Am I your number one? I don't care if you're number one. So anyway, she goes on, and I think Chrysanthemum comes up, and then she says something about, she'd be the trophy wife. So if Chrysanthemum be the trophy wife, what is Alexis going to be? His fixer-upper? I don't know. Like, what is she saying? Because I think she's attractive too, so I don't understand where that's coming from, where that's going to, and why you keep bringing up other people when you're just meant to be bonding with this one person. Because it seems like they have a decent chemistry. They laugh, looking at Ron. He really seems a little looser and more comfortable. They're playing, they're joking a lot more. But like I said, they were very affectionate. They were hugging each other multiple times. So I'm not sure where Alexis is going with this. Is she really invested in this guy? Or is he just her backup plan for her number one, who seems to be maybe AJ, because it's no longer Jason. She and Jason have agreed that he don't feel him. That's okay, that's fine. So, I don't know. I wasn't feeling Ron in the beginning, but I'm kind of feeling for him now, like, oh dude, I hope, she's not just using him as the backup. Because even if they do end up together, if she's not really into him, are they really going to last long? But I digress. Let's go on to the next couple. So, AJ and Amber, they schedule a date. AJ is like, oh, I haven't really met up with you. What's going on? And she's like, well, you weren't trying to meet with me, like, so all I get from you is like, the playboy vibes. I probably think that sometimes you appear to be unapproachable, or maybe even arrogant, and maybe you're just used to people always chasing you and you don't have to do the chasing. And so she's like, look, if you extend yourself and give some energy, I'll match that energy. And he's like, am I gonna hold up to you? She's like, I'm a woman of my word. And I don't know why I just remembered that, why I like that, but I just like the fact that she said, I'm a woman of my word. If I say this, this is what I'm gonna do. But it really does make sense. Two things. First thing is, Is he, because we do see the edited versions, is he really only just, I guess, interacting with people who are crazy about him or enamored with him? Or is it just been edited to appear that way? Because I don't want to go ahead. So he's not someone I'm not a great fan of his in terms of his physical appearance. I don't know who the person is, but in terms of physical appearance, I'm not like, ooh. But he appears to be a lot of people have him in their top. So I don't want us judging him to say if he's conventionally, I don't want to say the term good looking, but let's just say he's good looking for now. If he's conventionally good looking, I don't want us to judge him just because he's meant to be decent looking, that, okay, because of that, he's arrogant and he feels is all that. Because that would be the same way one might judge a beautiful woman and just assume because she's decent looking that she just has a way, she's arrogant and feels herself. Whereas that might not be the case. Maybe you didn't really speak with her. Maybe she didn't know. So I haven't seen that. Like I said, it's a show, it's a game show. They're playing games. Maybe he has to keep his cards close to his chest. He also has to play the game. And once again, editing is always the thing that comes up, but we talk about how the producers intervened. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't want to jump on the bandwagon and say that, yeah, he's feeling he's all that, and so he's acting a certain way. I'm going to leave, when we get the reunion, then we're going to hear the truth. But for now, I don't just want that to be the narrative that we'll just put on him. So I hear what she's saying, but we wait and see. All right. So now, go on to Chris and Chris. And when I say Chris and Chris the dude, KG, and Chrysanthemum, who we've now decided to start calling Chris. So they meet up, and he was surprised. And I think it was the females who set up the dates this week. So because he was like, I was surprised that you wanted to meet up with me. Because I guess maybe in the nutshell, she wasn't checking for him before. She says that's okay, because if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. But anyway, she's also realizing to herself that, her top, who all of a sudden now is Ron, is still kind of, dealing with somebody else. So she has to have a backup plan. And she decides, for reasons best known to her or to the producers, that her backup plan was going to be KG. So, they get talking about, father, mother. She explains that, she didn't really know her father very well until a couple of years ago because her mother just wanted to have a kid and blah, blah, blah. And then, KG goes on, well, I didn't really have much relationship with my daddy either. And they go, and then she goes talking about her mother, that her mother provided but was never really affectionate, and that might probably transcend or bleed into a relationship with people where she's probably not very affectionate. And you think at this point, they would trauma bond, popular phrase now. Nothing was going to help these people bond. They're just not meant to be. Because even with all that little thing they exchanged there, it wasn't enough to shift or even create chemistry. And that kind of leads us back to a question we asked last week, is that, if you don't automatically feel someone, can that be manufactured? Can that be built? And I want to say in some situations, you can kind of build up on maybe just a single conversation and begin to see other things about the person and maybe possibly build an attraction. But with these two people, it's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. So, because the date was, I don't want to say the date was a dud. People, it was a dud. There's nothing to see here, folks. It's just simply, they met up to see if they can't even be each other's backup. So, we're gonna move on to the next couple, okay? So, moving on to the next date with Amber and Joe. Meet up, have a little, meant to be some kind of dinner. And two attractive people to me, I don't know how they've interacted. I don't remember how they've interacted in the past, but I like that Joe, he's still playful self. He comes in, like, he don't really have to dress up, because when I remember, he was just wearing jeans and a little light wool sweater or something, just being himself. And he's, coming through the gate like, look, how do you feel there's an age gap between us? It's about 10 years, and I have kids. How do you feel about that? Because that's me, that's my life, that's the baggage, that's what I won't call it baggage, that's what I'm coming with. So before we even start any kind of conversation, is this something you can deal with? And she goes on to say, well, yeah, I'm not their mother, but I love kids and blah, 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 blah. Okay, all right. So, then they get going. And I think prior to even that conversation, he had asked permission, which I thought was cute. Gave a little peck on the cheek. It looks like New Orleans, like the guys, let's just say. Guys from New Orleans, they know what they're doing. Like, they know how to talk to people. So already, I think he's already softened her up, buttoned her up. So she's relaxing, she's loose. By the end of the dinner, she reciprocates and gives him a peck on the cheek too. Well, it seems still all well and innocent, But Joe is a little, Romeo, like he wrote the playbook for Romeo. But still, on his end, it doesn't seem like there's any position reshuffling, because in his confessional, he still kind of mentions, you know, V. So V is still kind of playing with his top, and that's it. But when I look at Amber, I feel like Amber's been playing it safe all this time. She's calculating, like, and that's what her career requires. She has to be calculating. She has to be cool, level-headed, think clearly. So she was playing it because she wasn't going for the big players, and she was also avoiding some of the big players who, some of them have gone home. So she was just kind of biding her time and just waiting. So I don't know if she and Chris, aka KG, are going to end up together, but I feel like she was just there, just kind of biding her time and watching out. So now she has an opportunity with Joel. She's kind of loosened up and relaxed. Could this be an open door for her? Guys, let's keep watching. I don't know, but I just feel like I really feel like Amber's playing the long game. So let's just keep our eye on her and see what the sister does, because she's not a district attorney by joke or just by mistake. The chick is smart. So let's keep watching. So anyway, all right, so going on to the next couple, Jason and Liz. All right, I think it's out there in the YouTube streets. I already called, you know, Jason a small boy, so I'm not backtracking from this. But Brad is really stepping up his game. So, you know, they meet up, you know, they come up, you know, already. Liz stepped up her game a little, you know, even more. Like she's like, I think it was like a little cat suit, like a, you know, she looks nice. You know, she looks nice. She walks in already, and I feel so. My impression of him is that I don't know if he noticed her before, but he seems more enamored by her physical appearance as soon as he saw her at the gala or the ball or whatever you want to call it. So I'm looking at him with a side eye, like, dude, who are you and what's your business? That's why I'm looking at him like that. But let's see how he plays it out. So they meet up, you know, does a nice, you know, gentleman thing, pulls out the chair for her. They're having like a lunch brunch thing before, because they're right in front of like some kind of, you know, amusement park of some sort, some outdoor amusement park. So I'm still judging him that he's enamored with her physical appearance. We agree on that. But you know, what I love about when Liz has her conversations, she's very upfront. And I like that for someone her age. She's 40, she's not 21. I like that she's stating her intentions up front. So the conversation comes up when most people don't know her. What do you feel about abstinence and celibacy? And my boy Jason, he decided to swing the ball out the park. He's like, you know what? I don't mind. And he shows the more realistic. He's like, it's gonna be hard, but if that's what was gonna work for you, then I'm gonna make it work for me too. And that really is like a winning point. And I think that really makes sense, because a lot of people say that's a hard position to be in, where if that's not something you go for. But I feel like if you're really into someone like that, you're invested in that person, you will do what's required, because that's what you're interested in. So I would never say that's something that's, you know, on call for, something impossible to do. At this point, he's saying the right things. But if in practice he actually does go along and they're communicating, and he does go along and continue to be that way, that means he's invested, so he's willing to do what's important and what works for her. And it will be likewise. It will be based on communication. But already, him making sense. The small boy is making sense. So I'm giving him some points here. Then, you know, they go on to like the wheel. Every place, every amusement park calls it something else. We're just gonna call it the wheel. London is gonna call it like the London Eye or something. Anyway, they get on the wheel, go around, and then like I'm watching, and I was surprised. Like he just goes ahead and like he puts his hand on her hand. All of a sudden he gives her a peck. Like, say what, bruh? You got moves like that? Sleek, stealth, moved in like. He was up before I noticed. I had to rewind. They're like, whoa. Yeah, we were both surprised. But she was like, but let's say pleasantly surprised. But dude had some moves, and he used these moves. So yeah, I think he does have like a background of being like a baller or something, because those moves, he clearly has a little bit of experience. He's tried that move before because it was too smooth. Bro had a little experience. But okay, I'll give you points, sir. It was delicate, but the execution was well done. Well done, sir. Moving on. So then they get off the little wheel, and they're just, you know, talking still. They're going to vibe. So she's packing away their lunch. I don't know how you kind of left that stuff there. Okay. Maybe the producers with that. So then they pack up stuff and she put in her bag. So he leans over to help her. Can let me take this. And leans in for another kid. Dude has some moves. So we said he's a baller, so he learned those moves. And you know how people say about the PE teachers? But like he looked mad. And I think, you know, part of, she was relaxed and wasn't expecting much. I think we both, and I say we, you know, Liz and I both kind of looked at him like, oh, just gonna be nice. We didn't really prepare ourselves for the moves he was pulling. So I'm still looking at him with a side eye, because my issue with him is like, you only noticed her when you saw her have the girls out at the ball. But let's see if there's more to you. You just didn't, you were distracted or pulled away by Fly Jones, who was trying to get your attention. So let's say you were if that was the truth. Let's see. So what you do from here on now will now make me see, because I'm allowed to change my mind. So is Liz. So let's see how this goes. I'm not backtracking, I'm just watching. So I'm just saying, okay, let's see how he plays it from here. But I'm still looking at him with a side eye. I'm still judging a little bit, but I'm not impressed by those sleek little moves he's pulling. Like, he's trying to have sister head to church and ask for forgiveness in a second. But jokes aside, so this date was a cute date. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, so going on to the next couple, which is Kyra and Aj. We know these couple have a history, but somehow, they say either they're playing the game or they actually mean it. They're still in each other's top. And so she's like, you know, what's this like cute little chocolate leather, you know, skin tone leather dress. I'm like, all right, sis, I see you over there. And then AJ's Aj, I don't remember what he was wearing, but he's a guy. The only time I remember what he wore was when he went to the ball, because homie wore that dinner jacket. But anyway, back to this date. So, you know, they sit down. He has to pull out all the stops because he jacked up before in the past. So he's got them like a private room. You know, he's got, you know, I think I didn't know this lobster, but she kept saying lobster, so I guess she got a lobster dinner. Maybe she likes seafood. I don't know if that's a Houston thing. But anyway, she had a lobster dinner in a private room, and they're talking. And, you know, she's kind of telling him and opening up to him that, look, you know what, I get this, you know, like you're the wild card. I can't really make I don't know what I need to make of you, you know, whether you're the good angel, the bad angel. It means there's something there and I'm not sure. Like in terms of conversation, so they start talking, and then she starts playing this game to try and get more information out of him. So she's talking about, you know, would I ever, that game they play. So then they go about cheating, and I think I saw both of them sip. So they both have a history of cheating. I mean, that's life. So moving on, folks. And then when it comes to the next question, he asked the question about ever being in love. Have I ever been? So he sips. So yeah, he's been in love, and then launching into he's now creating an opening to launch into the fact where, okay, you've been in love, what happened to relationship? And he says, which is a nice, popular, safe answer when people ask you, why did you guys break up? You can say, we didn't have good communication. Because because human beings ultimately at one point or another, we really suck at communication, and that really is a fault. But that way you don't have to point fingers. You can say, you know, I wasn't there, So already, but so I would say this, AJ does have a game face, and so he knows how to play the safe cards. But then of course Kyra is already looking at him with a side eye. So then he always realizes that he has to warm himself up to a point where he takes down that facade and actually shows. And I think by the end of the dinner he did, because she felt satisfied, you know. And she's an attorney, so she knows how to ask questions, and she knows how to listen, not to what you're saying, but to what you're not saying. She knows how to look at your body language. This is all part of it, and I think he understands that his little game thing not gonna work with sis. So I think by the end of the dinner, it looks like it broke down. I think there's something he said that struck me that I remember. He said something about, you know, part as I guess a reason or excuse as to why his communication may have been poor in the past, or he has an issue warming up initially. He says that he's a loner, and so that kind of affects his communication. I get it, bruh, I get it. So that was, yeah, that was a game card he played well played, sir, because that's understandable. If you're a loner or you like to stick by yourself, communicating with people off the top is kind of difficult. And honestly, in this show, the basis of the show, game show, it's difficult. So I can give him points for that. So he did well on this date. They've done good. So next date, moving on. So the next couple, Dietrich and V, is clearly we know these people are just this backup for her, you know. But for Dietrich, like, who else have we seen him with? I think I speculated last week that I don't know where he was going, but he wasn't going very far very soon. And so clearly he's her backup date. They come in, you know, he comes in swinging like, yo, you be my number one. I'm bored while he's talking, and I think she's bored too. He's talking about he's nervous. She's like, yeah, if I want a man to be a man. If you're nervous, then who's gonna lead? I don't want to lead you. And they go talking, and this makes me wonder, I feel, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I feel like he started off really strong. He started off really confident. All of a sudden, it looks like he just fizzled. He just ran out of gas. He ran out of steam. You know those people that sprint, like it's just 100 meters, but 15 meters in, they trip, fall, they dust up and get up, but they never quite catch that momentum. It seems, I don't know when he lost his momentum, but I'm just looking at like, the last time he looked like he knew what he was doing, he was smooth, was when he, Ida had called him Marvin Gaye in that very first scene, because wearing with a nice, smooth, sky blue, summer suit. But since that time, he looked like Papa in Tressor's terms. Because now I'm thinking, like, was he always this like a dad? He seems like a dad, and it's not him. His energy and his presence has changed, and that. Something, I don't know what, maybe something happened to him personally or what happened, but it's changed. And I mean, they go talking about dating, and that kind of leads you into the premise of the show, which is as an adult. So they're trying to get like older people who are dating. You're an adult, you've got responsibilities, you've got children. How do you make time for dating? What do you do? How should it be done? And I think that's the premise of this Ready to Love, because it's like you're meant to show like people, not teens or some of those younger dating shows, but people who are a little older, well established in their careers, likely have had families, likely have been divorced, so they have responsibilities, but they want to make time to find that companion. That's the premise of the show. That's my understanding of it. And so looking at these two talk, that's when you ask yourself, so how do in the real world, how do people really go around this and maneuver this kind of thing, getting to find that companion, trying to get away from the landmines and stay away from all these games that people play, even people who are your age, who should know better. So you see this, but there's no chemistry here. And I don't even think V is even open to taking her eye off Joe too, and that hopefully that won't cost her, because she should be invested. I haven't seen her, once again, this could go down to editing and to the producers, but I haven't seen her on any dates with anyone else. But even in the way she's speaking, it appears that her mind is only on Joel. And sis, that might be a mistake. Joel is my favorite, but I like to keep it real with you. So, anyway, nothing. So now, we're going to the ladies' lounge. This is now we're gonna pick the people for the elimination dates. And so, if you tell me, it's like, oh, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. They're always clapping for him like he's a celebrity. I guess he put them on, so they should clap for him. Anyway, Alexis, we know she's talking about her run date, and then she's like, I'm his number one. I said, I'm sick of this, but I'm keeping on, we'll keep moving. Amber, she said she had a good date with Joe, and she brought up those two kisses up with him. And Sister V fell down her soul, but she took it like she did that. I think that's the beginning where she should realize that she needs to start playing the game with them. Of course, Kyra, talks about how romantic the date with her and what's his name, Aj was. Alexis on the other side is, because Alexis playing a game. I think she liked Aj first, so Alexis was looking like, she hating. And I'll tell you why I said she hated in 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, I'm gonna tell you why she hated. No, actually 1 minute. Anyway, so then Kyra talks, and then Liz, talks about her romantic date with Jason. And he didn't get one, but he put 2 kisses. He surprised me, and I'm watching on my couch. And so then they go to the part where, people talk about who they're not feeling. And so V, rightfully so, says, me and Dietrich, like said dad, somebody else says Dietrich, somebody says Chris, KG. Amber's looking up like, no, I know you didn't talk about my dude like that. That's one of my cards. And then, surprisingly, okay, so Liz understandably says AJ, because they had a date in the past, and they've talked about that abstinence conversation you always have, abstinence versus celibacy conversation. He's like, he can't do it, so understandably so, he's in her bottom. I get it. But then it was Alexis. Amber also said AJ was in her bottom, because they had that conversation, and she just closed the topic like, he feeling himself, I want nothing to do with him. But the person, Alexis, if I remember correctly, Alexis said that, yeah, I'm gonna got you. Yeah, so she put AJ in her bottom because she was jealous that AJ had a great date with Kyra. So she's trying to now she's going for Kyra. Like, Alexis is playing a game. What did I say? Alexis is playing a game. And sooner rather than later, she's going to get her fingers nipped in that game she's playing. Because she was trying to throw him out. Like, she voted to have him off. So anyway, so we already know the two guys in the Elimination Dates now are AJ and Dietrich. And this goes again. This is a different season. This season is like running wild. They're running mad. Like in Kojo's terms, like when they say man's running wild and mad, because usually they don't have their tops. Like the people who've been, in people's top three don't usually get into elimination dates just like that. Usually, the elimination dates are usually people who no one's feeling, but for some reason, AJ is in the elimination date. So let's go to the elimination dates because we want to know. All right, so they run simultaneously, or they showed them these dates simultaneously. So Kyra is with Dietrich. Kyra is like real cool. No threat here, so she's gentle with him. A little small talk. Nothing here, folks. Nothing to see. Talk about I haven't seen in a while. Hug. All right, I'm sorry to tell you, the ladies have spoken. Sir, Dietrich, you're not ready to love at this time. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. So he just, he said he see you later. All right, so we'll see you later, sir. Salute. So then we go to like the AJ and Alexis date. I don't know why we picked Alexis to go on that date. This chick, like I said, she's playing a game and she's gonna get her fingers caught in those blades with the game she's playing. So she gets to be the one to do the elimination date with him. And so, she's kind of starting off real hyper. AJ knows his game. So he puts on his baller Mac Daddy cap. And then I think he puts his hand on her hands and then switches her around and then puts his arms around. All of a sudden, she knows she's been disarmed. So she took a deep breath and had to face him back again and talking about how the lady said he's this, the lady says that. Yeah, putting rah. I insist that the reason why he ended up in she voted for him to be in the bottom or to be eliminated was because he has a connection with Kyra, and she's not feeling that because he hasn't shown her that side, and she got what she wanted because when she talked with him, they made it known that okay, you know what, you haven't been eliminated, but you've been in the bottom for this reason. You're not reaching out, you're not doing this, you're not showing yourself, you're not opening up, including me. Yeah, including me. Clearly, I'm not feeling Alexis today. But so we know Alexis is playing a game, but then what does AJ do next? I don't know what he was doing. He is, put his head down, wiping dry skin. Like, I don't know if it was a joke or I think it may have been a joke and it was edited, like, to make us think that he was crying. And then Alexis is like, are you crying, AJ? He's like, I'm not ready to leave. I'm not done yet. But he's got his head down. But I had to rewind like once or twice. I didn't see any moisture around his eyes, so he was playing, the Chris game, Chris from Maths, where he pretended to cry too. I think this is a new thing for the new age kids today, where you can pretend to cry because they say men don't cry, they want to do the opposite. And I digress. Anyway, so AJ was in the bottom. He's not been eliminated, so he goes on to next week. Guys, this is just a different type. This is a different season, and it's interesting. Let's see how it goes. But, I'm looking at these people who are really playing the game, and let's see if they can catch them, because I think this is what the show is trying to do, is really take out the game players. Although they've created a game atmosphere and scenario, they're trying to get rid of the game players. So guys, don't forget, I don't tell you up front, don't forget to like this video, make a comment, and subscribe. See you next week, all right? Lola over and out.